The hill on which the cathedral church stands is known as Cathedral Hill, Puke Rangiora. The hill was a well-known tribal landmark named after the native flora called Rangiora that grew on its summit in pre-European times. It stems from rangi, meaning sky, ora, meaning life, and puke, meaning hill. Thus the full name Puke Rangiora can mean literally the hill of the life-giving heaven. Now this site was already associated with the Anglican Church, as the first services had been held there in a militia hut within the redoubt, built by the 4th Regiment of Waikato Militia in late 1864-1865. St. Peter's Church was the 4th Anglican church to be built on Victoria Street, the first 2 wooden churches being further to the north opposite the end of Marlborough Place. The first church burnt down in 1867 before completion, and the second, completed in 1871, was deconsecrated and sold to the Waikato Times in 1875. The third church, built in 1876, also wooden, was built just south of the extant church hall, close to the footpath and below the side of the current cathedral. It was named St. Peter's. As Hamilton grew, so did the number of Anglican parishioners. Not only was a large church needed by 1900, but the existing one was made of kahikatea and was unsafe due to deterioration of the timber. The plans were altered to use ferro cement instead of bricks, and a 2-stage construction was mooted. Further decisions revolved around its orientation, its size and the materials, and whether or not to cut a terrace into the hill. The defensive trenches were filled in, the site cleared, and finally in September 1915 the tender of Robert Sanders of Auckland was accepted. On the 5th of October 1915, the foundation stone was laid by the Governor, the Earl of Liverpool. Building continued through 1916, with the west wall, temporarily of wood and barely furnished, was dedicated on the 12th of December 1916. The main entrance was a temporary lean-to below the central mullioned window on the west side. The Ladies' Guild of the church raised funds for further improvements. These included installing a carved oak pulpit, forming a paved approach to the door, fixing leaks in the roof and the mullioned window, and paying for the window installed in the east wall in 1930. The window itself was created by English artist A.L. Ward. St. Peter's is the cathedral church for the Bishop and Diocese of Waikato, which covers approximately a third of the North Island. The diocese is one of 7 in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and the cathedral is also a parish in its own right, with the Dean of the Cathedral as its vicar. St. Peter's Cathedral is an impressive landmark, visible from a far distance due to both its hilltop location and architectural design with prominent square towers. The cathedral plays an important role in establishing the character of central Hamilton. Together with historic buildings in this part of Victoria Street, including St. Peter's Hall, Reed's Studio and the former George Smith House, the cathedral makes an important contribution to the continuity and established character of the southern part of Victoria Street.